So in the spirit of me being me, I have decided that for the start of part 5, all the videos I took, we're going to get deleted with part 4. So yeah, we're going to start the video off like this. 82,014 miles. Like I said, she's a low mileage truck. Got some different warning lights, but yeah, we still have plenty to go up here. But yeah, just gonna disconnect this for now. It has no oil in it. There are at least 2 of these little vacuum ports that still need hooked up. Vacuum line right over here that needs hooked up too. Once those couple of vacuum lines are hooked up, we're gonna see if she fires. Okay, so as of right now, I have the flashing lights. No, there is no coil hooked up, so this should just crank. Okay. I knew it wasn't going to be that simple, and I pressed the clutch in, and I'm pretty sure I just heard, yeah, the rod fall out. So, a little more work. Okay, so I am still trying to figure out what that is, but running the ground to the neutral safe, or from the neutral safety to the battery. Okay, that does that. So, that's good to know. Shut up. Then found that, and more importantly, I have no idea where my plug went. Right here. So yeah, I get to figure out how to. Actually, I could probably just cut and repin that. Either way, I have more wiring to do before this thing starts. Okay, so I'm going to try to save a little bit of money and just repin this. We'll pull that locking tab out of there. This is just on the back. I put my pocket knife in there and just press down on these little tabs on either side. And then, let's see if we look right in here. These little white tabs in here. I'm going to get under those, press those up, and I'm just going to push these pins out. Is this okay? I got a weather pack back here. I'm just gonna, yeah, yank on out of there. This is right in front of me. Do I have a small screwdriver? So it tabs up out of the way. He pushes out, and actually, before I forget, we have, like this, solid black, then black with blue tracer, blue with white tracer, and then green with black tracer. But anyway, you just get up under here. Oh, hey, he fell right out. Just pop them tabs up. Oh, like that. All those popped out. Now, with these, they're machine crimped on there. So it's going to be kind of hard to get those pried apart. But on the back of here, what's nice is when these fit in here, you can kind of look and see they'll fit in, where are we at? pretty far down in there, so you can't exactly just put a wire on top of that. Plus, these are not exactly fun to solder. Now, I don't believe I have any of these terminals here, because here we make some custom wire harness. Well, not really custom. We just make wire harnesses for alternators and whatnot. So we've got all the fancy tools to do stuff like this. And I don't feel like trying to track down a set of pins for this, so I'm gonna stab myself first off. You know what? What am I even doing? There we go. Oop. Gonna spread them apart. So he used to look like this, and actually, gotta stand behind the camera so I can get a better angle on these. This one's actually done wrong. So this insulation's supposed to be up under here so you get a good grip on that. This one was done right. But this one, you just want to spread these tabs out, and then you can get under there with like that little pair of needle nose there, hopefully. And then I like to just pry up on them a little bit if I can with this, because it's a little easier with the pick. But the needle nose, you don't exactly have the risk of pinching your fingers. Or not pinching, stabbing your fingers. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this part, come on, focus. This part here crimped. I'm going to get a wire, probably length of these guys. And then I'm going to just stick that in here, pinch this part back down to crimp it a little, and solder it. And then I'll have like a 3 or 4 inch worth of wire I can actually work with. So, of course, it all depends on whether or not I can actually do that successfully. I'm going to take leave a little tail here so I got some extra room to solder with. Now when I say blue and white, do I have a blue and white up in here? Ooh, I do. There's blue and light. Yes, blue and light. Blue and white. Now, before anybody asks, this is the old... actually, of course I'm going to have it because everything runs into this, because this is the old connector that goes to the fuse box. But I am going to... Let's see. I want... because I can't shove too much back in there, I'm going to cut about, strip about that much off. So we're just going to set him, if it'll focus, in there like that. And here comes the fun part, trying to recrimp this. Actually, twisting your wires will help some. Actually, I can shove that in there right next to him. So the finished product, or I guess not finished, but he'll look something like that. And then take my soldering iron, flip him on. And we're going to just wait for that to heat up some. In the meantime, we'll move on to the next one. Alrighty, where's my straight black? Right here. Just bunch wire off that because oh, that's black and blue. So that's that. Do I not have just straight black in here? Does not look like it. Okay, so I will go black and tan. I need green and brown, it looks like, maybe. Yeah. Green should just be good enough. So that feels warm enough. Where are we at? Right here. Straighten the wire out. Just gonna hold him there. And then you don't need, this wire's a little warm, all the solder in the world, just enough to get a decent connection on there. Work on this guy next. Now that, actually, we're just going to strip these now so I can just put this away. There's that. There. There. And here. That and that. Awesome. So now we can green. Get him split apart. Just a little more, and I bent him way too far back, so that tab's probably going to break on me. And then we're just going to... You don't want to cooperate. Actually, what am I doing? I don't want a whole lot on here anyway. Why fight it? And I can just not have enough wire. Trim you back a little more. Twist that up. Stick you like that. Let's tape on my finger. we're gonna just slowly, poorly, and slowly, and very poorly crimp him together. Okay. Find the starter again. That's a little warm. That's number 2 done. Was there blue and white in that? There was. Oh, there was a blue and white. Why am I working on that one again? I don't need that one. I need this one. Just trim it back. Actually, can I get in here with this? Oh, that makes that so much easier. Okay, so there's that. You're not stripped enough. Here we are, there's that. We're going to crimp you together. Just like that. Ooh, that's shorter, so that's hotter. Probably shouldn't try to fix that at the moment. Alrighty, actually, this one's probably going to be the easiest because he is already, ooh yeah, already got a big enough gap under there. I don't have to really do much else than crimp it together after jamming the wire in there and throwing a little solder on them. That off, unplug it. Alrighty, and now I gotta pause the video and see where my wires are at. Okay. And then we have black on the left, then black and blue towards the middle, blue and white towards the middle, and green. And all those are held in there nicely. I'm going to trim these all up so they're roughly the same length so it all goes in there well. But yeah, kind of quick, easy. Well, easy for me because I've done this before. Come on. Put the locking tab back in. And the fun part, the weather pack. So jam wires through there. I've never enjoyed putting wires through WirePak because they almost never cooperate. But this time around they seem to be doing okay. So get that in there, and then the hard plastic divider deal. Just like that. Clips into place, and there we go. We have all four. Of course, I am going to trim these down so that they are all roughly the same length. That way it goes in a whole lot easier, a whole lot smoother, however you want to call it. And of course I'm going to trim back a ways on them. This way I can put butt connectors on. Crimp them down, cut, splice, crimp on the other end, and be done with it. So, there's that part done. this is not at all what I wanted to hear. I've got continuity all the way through these wires. So I should have ground, right? One would think. That's not going to give me voltage because it's not showing through ground. So stick you there. Here we have, well, that's 50 millivolts. That's 50 millivolts. So why wouldn't the test light light up? Huh. Odd. Let's see. I got good voltage here, right? Yeah. So I got good connection because going straight to the alternator, I've got 12 volts. But through here, just jam the wire down in there. $11. What the hell? Did I just not get a good enough connection on there? Okay. Good through there. So I'm going directly to the power wire on the alternator. If it's got voltage, why is it not lighting the test light up? I mean, the test light works. It just... yeah, it works, so... That's why I don't like electrical. Everything can test good, but for some reason, it won't work. All right, I guess more digging. So I'm getting everything put back up in here, and originally I was going to drop this cross member here so I could drop the transmission when I needed to. But yeah, I figured a way around that. So whole reason it didn't come down is because that bolt rounded off. And I also have a new permanent resident in here. This, my friends, if I can find the hole to stick my finger on it. Oh, it's behind the wall. But anyway, that would be the 5/8 socket. Oh yeah, right there. That'd be the 5/8 socket. Yeah. He's stuck in there. I have tried hammers and punches and shit, and it just will not come off. But on a completely other note, I have... I was a little freaked out until my buddy reminded me that we were going to replace the rear end on this. This guy right here went from righty-tighty to righty-loosey. I mean, he's on there. It's holding. I'm going to check it kind of daily, I think. And hopefully it doesn't decide to just disappear on me. Okay, so I ran into a slight issue. On the driver's side, on my old intake, we have a large port on the driver's side and then a large and a small on the passenger side. And on the 8-cylinder one, I have 2 on the driver's side, large and small, or I guess large and large because they're roughly the same size, and a small one on this side. So what I did was, this side, I just switched it around. So I actually found some hose in my truck, so I didn't have to buy any, but ran that directly to the vacuum. I switched the PCV valve and the breather tube around. So the breather tube runs here instead of on my 6-cylinder, it ran back and around and over here. And my PCV valve, I ran to here. And then obviously my brake booster went to that side anyway. So basically just switched the two around. That's where that's at. I got lucky. I couldn't find my bolt, but it just so happens that one of our alternator bolts here is the exact thread size I needed. So that's setting that there and holding that down. The belt, I'm hoping the 6-cylinder one will work, because I mean, on my 6-cylinder was alternator, power, or AC, power steering, idler, crank, water pump, all the same spot, so it should roughly fit the same. I've got that all mounted up. My 2 ground wires that need to, I'm just going to ground to the battery to make sure they're good. I'll route those probably back over like this, something like that. Get them mounted up. That's kind of why I went with these, because I figured I was going to be adding stuff on. It'd be easier to add them like that. Got to reroute the starter wires. The neutral safety switch, I got to actually crimp that on and put that more permanently. A couple other things I need to hook up to the transmission. My reverse light wiring stuff, I need to figure out how to get that going, if it's just power ground or whatnot. ECM's in. I gotta rehook these spark plug wires because I pulled those so I could rewire, or reloom, retrace, whatever you want to call it, all the way up to here. Everything's pretty well tightened down. I gotta find a bolt for this because I lost the bolt for that, which that's not too big an issue. I gotta pull the couple transmission bolts that are in there, or they're already put in, because those, or it's got a dust shield cover deal thingy I gotta put back on, and that's, I mean, those bolts are gonna be in the way. Gotta drop the starter again because the starter fits through that. Radiator is going to be put in. Got to put my cross core support deal in. Remount the core, or remount the condenser. Put lights back in. I did find a slight issue with my speed wires. Or speed sensor wires, had to cut, crimp, tape, hang those back up, so I should have working speedo again. Still have to put the last couple of bolts into the cross member. Actually, I already showed what was going on with the cross member. And then hook the battery up, put coolant in it. That should be about, oh yeah, and a wiper or two, since they're both rubbers peeling, or I guess the rubber's peeling off the one, the wiper blade just completely broke on the other. Okay, everything's hooked up. I think I got the plug wires hooked up correctly, but I guess I'll figure that out once I go to start it. Yeah, so here goes nothing. Okay. Well, it sounds like I've got a vacuum leak somewhere. I also don't have any sort of O2 sensors in this. So that's probably not too happy with that. All I really got to do there is just cut the exhaust off the donor truck and just put that in here.